Hello everyone, I am Dr. Anil Adagre from Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce. I am working as professor in Department of English for more than 25 years. I am delighted to offer you the course British Literature, the Early 20th Century. It is a 5-credit course which has been spread over 13 weeks, and the content of the course will be approximately 25 hours. Let me give a brief introduction of the course so that you will get an idea about the course. Modernism may be understood as the literature of rupture, a cultural and intellectual movement that emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries when older systems of certainty began to collapse. More than a stylistic shift, modernism represents a radical rethinking of reality, language, time, identity and art itself. Victorian faith in order, rationality, stable truth and coherent individuality gave way to doubt, fragmentation and uncertainty. With this aim, our lecture series seek to examine and explain the major features, techniques and philosophical foundations and cultural anxieties that define modernism. Yeats's famous declaration, and I quote, "Things fall apart, the center cannot hold," unquote, became symbolic of an age marked by the collapse of moral, religious, imperial and psychological certainty. This crisis was intensified by historical upheavals, especially the First World War. Industrial technology, once celebrated as progress, became an instrument of mechanized destruction. Novelists such as D. H. Lawrence, James Joyce and Virginia Woolf shifted attention from external action to interior experience. Techniques such as stream of consciousness, interior monologue and free indirect discourse attempted to capture the fluid movement of thought itself. In Woolf's fiction, life appears not as a sequence of events, but as a luminous halo of impressions, memories and sensations. Fragmentation became one of the defining features of modernist form. Traditional omniscient narration gave way to unreliable narrators, shifting perspectives and narrative relativism. Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness destabilizes moral certainty through Marlowe's hesitant narration, while writers such as Ford Madox Ford and William Faulkner force readers to reconstruct meaning from fractured consciousness. The reader becomes an active participant rather than a passive observer. The rapidly modernizing city also shaped modernist imagination. Urban life produced anonymity, sensory overload and emotional numbness, what George Simmel called the blast attitude. Writers employed cinematic techniques such as montage to reflect the fragmented rhythm of metropolitan existence. Joyce's Ulysses transforms Dublin into a network of intersecting movements, voices and perceptions. Modernist poetry confronted similar anxieties through myth, symbolism and linguistic experimentation. T. S. Eliot's The Wasteland presents modern civilization as spiritually exhausted through multiple voices, languages and cultural fragments, while its used mythic cycles to interpret historical collapse. Ezra Pound's call to make it new inspired avant-garde movements such as imagism, futurism, etc., all of which rejected decorative language in favor of precision, energy and innovation. Ultimately, modernism is best understood as the architecture of fracture, a literature born from war, technological change, psychological discovery, imperial decline and philosophical doubt. Through fragmentation, experimentation, ambiguity and self-conscious artistry, modernism transformed not only literary form but cultural consciousness itself, leaving a legacy that continues to shape contemporary thought and artistic expression. Thank you and welcome you all to explore the early 20th century British literature.